Hello, and thank you for joining me tonight. I go by Lune INNATE, and this is going to be a card reading for each of the zodiac houses, or each of the zodiac signs for the month of May, and I'm going to be pulling a card for a general focus, general insight, love, and also career. I wanted to try to, make it something that you can kind of pull things from and give you something to think about. Now, please keep in mind that you have a lot of other stuff in your chart. So if one of these doesn't resonate with you, like if you're a sun sign, I'm a Cancer sun sign, if that doesn't resonate, or if you want to gain some more insight or perspective on it, check out the reading for your rising sign and your moon sign and see, that will kind of paint a bigger picture for you. So I've got my candle going, I have an intention set, but I wanted to do a offering with this. I know it looks like a joint, but it's a rope incense. It's very earthy and spicy and smells like a temple, and it's really good. I really like it a lot, so I wanted to burn this as just an offering to spirit, for connection, for guidance, and to cleanse my space and stuff like that. So put it in my little abalone shell over there. Alright, really quickly, I just wanted to thank you guys who have checked out the new project that I'm working on with one of my teachers. She's more than my teacher. We have a relationship where we've developed a friendship, and I love her so much. Her name is Blanca. You've heard me talk about her a ton of times if you watch my channel often. But that project is called Emerald Paradigm, and it's on YouTube, and we have one up. We're planning another one for 2 weeks. We're trying to do like a 2-week thing, twice a month for now, and we'll add more as we get going, but that's kind of the game plan for now, because we know we're both very busy. But she's actually my shamanic teacher, and anyway, thank you for checking it out, guys. I really appreciate it. It's not ASMR. It's kind of like a long form, like about an hour of just talking about spiritual stuff. So alright, so I'm actually going to start with Taurus, since we're about to enter May, and we're certainly in Taurus season by now. I'm recording this on Monday, I don't even know the date, April 22nd or something like that. The decks I am using, I'm going to be using Earth Magic Oracle cards. I just got these fairly recently. I really like them a lot. So this will be the general reading, the general focus card. Oops, sorry. So this will be the general reading, general focus card. And then for love, we're going to do the Mystic Mondays. And for career, we're going to do the Holly Simple Fuzzy Prism Oracle deck. It's good to put your energy in the cards and set an intention. So we're asking for some general guidance, general insight for the month of May for the sign of Taurus. So happy birthday, all you Taurus out there. Okay. So I'm just going to put that down. Shuffle these ones up. So these Mystic Monday cards are actually tarot cards. The other two are oracle decks. And we're asking for some insight on love or our relationships. So when we talk about love, it doesn't necessarily have to be your current relationship or love situation in an external regard, but it can be love of self, and just keep that open. We'll see what comes up for each of you, each of the signs, but pull one for that, for Taurus, love, and now career. I'm saying career, but you know what? Let's consider it the more material realm and how we can kind of look at that. What I mean by that is our money, our finances, and our career. We'll kind of keep it in that. Okay. And then we've got that. Just organize these boxes. My cards. So they're nice and neat. As neat as they can be. And have a look. Alright, so the first card that comes up is Instinct, and it has the picture of a wolf in front of a mountain walking near a lake. So this is your general card for the month of May for Taurus, your general insight. I don't usually use the books for these kind of things, so I'm just going to tell you what I see from intuitive kind of perspective. You might find yourself not needing isolation, but cutting things your own way, seeing things from your own point of view, and really needing to fortify what it means to have your personal experiences, what certain things mean to you, and what is your priority, where are you driven to go, and really have some reflection there in your life. There's something about being seen, something about standing out in a humble and bold way of saying that, though. It's not like, oh, look at me, here I am, like super flashy or anything, but more of I have no reason to hide, and I am comfortable presenting myself, and I'm not doing it for anyone else, but I'm doing it for me kind of thing. So that's what I see as your general card for this month. Now for love. Oh, cool. We have the Queen of Wands. To me, this is not quite the highest form of mastery of creation, but very close, very calling the shots, knowing what you want, knowing you can obtain anything you want, and having definitely a level of confidence when it comes to love in that regard. This card is, we're talking about love, but it is about the self to me. It's kind of tied to the lone wolf, you could say, and truly knowing yourself. So this plays into your love life as well, certainly. It's a really beautiful image of a female with long hair, with her wand and her foot up, not like don't mess with me, I don't want to say that, but confident. I think you'll find yourself feeling very confident in at least what you want and your ability to create the relationships that you want. And then for career or money, material possessions, we have, I'm sorry, I should show you. The card is Embrace. And if, Taurus, material, money, comfort, it sounds so simple, but let yourself indulge in that, certainly. And don't feel guilty about it. Don't feel like there's anything to criticize about the way that you feel about material comforts or the things that you want. If you're having a hard time in your job or your career, this is a month to just give it your all. See where it takes you. You'll have a better understanding at the end of the month than, I gave it my all. I got my mind in the best place. I kept my thoughts on the higher level, you could say, and embracing the situation for all the good that is in it, even if you have to kind of alchemically extract it in a sense, if you know what I mean. Kind of create the gold out of the mercury or lead. But give it your all this month, and it will either pay off for you, or you'll know for sure, okay, I did my very best. I was positive, I was this and that and all this stuff. It didn't work out, so I can now kind of take it from there and make a more a decision that you will feel very comfortable about, and you won't have any confusion anymore. So I hope that this reading for you guys works out, or plays in, or provides some insight. I like to usually recommend a crystal. So just looking here, I feel a need for clarity, for independence. I'd say something like a clear calcite might be really good. Something grounding, maybe an agate, a fire agate. It's my stomach making noise, you could probably hear, but I would say either like a clear calcite or an agate, like a rich agate, as in something with depth and texture, maybe even a carnelian or something. All right, so just to give you an idea of how I shuffle cards and how I pull them, the last time I did one of these, I laid them all out in front of me, and it was quite messy and hard to keep them in order. But instead of shuffling them every single time, at this point now, I'm just going to pull from the top. So we're on to Gemini, and your guidance is Gaia, nurturing. It's got a beautiful image of like the goddess mother with flowers and overseeing. There's breath. There's very strong connection to breath in this. So I would say nurturing yourself certainly is going to be really, really important for you this more, or really beneficial, I should say. I don't want to say it's important, but you might find that it serves you very well. The more care you put into yourself this month, the more easily you'll be able to share that with others in whatever regard that means for you. Allow people to help you, allow people to support you, and I don't want to say blow smoke at you, like I don't mean that, but allow those compliments, those guiding, like from love, and if it resonates with you, the guidance from other people. There are many ways to nurture, so just be open to all the dimensions that other people might present to you in terms of nurturing. I don't mean to say you need to accept everything from anyone, I don't mean that, but definitely try to mindfully be more open to what other people can bring to you, and invoke a little trust, to give someone maybe the benefit of the doubt when it comes to where their motives might be. Of course, use your own personal discernment. If something feels very wrong, by all means, listen to your gut, but consider it, take a step back, pull back, nurture yourself, and feel what feels right to you, as in give yourself the time that you need, give yourself the foods, the vitamins, the pampering a little bit, you could say, or taking a bit back, taking I don't want to say necessarily a vacation, that could certainly come up for some of you, but a mental health day at work, or anything when you feel like you need it, be open to that kind of thing this month. So, and I hear Bamba coming. Now for love, we've got the Knight of Pentacles. So you are becoming more, how do I say this, more logical in love, in your relationships, in maybe your love of self. And I'll show you the image of him, just a casual dude. But the pentacles, that's grounded for me, so becoming there's logic, there's grounding, there's something quite practical perhaps about navigating your love life at this time, or your love of self. I know that's very vague. I'm sorry. I'm going to stare at this a little longer and see what else comes. Perhaps if you have this, decision, or if you are, as Geminis often are, they really need to be stimulated. Whether you're dating or, you're partnered, if you're kind of tying into that type of romantic relationship, if you're dating, if you've got someone in the realm, in your sight, in your world a little bit, who's very grounded and practical and makes sense, might not be the most stimulating, might not be, I don't want to say the most passionate, because, earthy people are certainly very passionate, but it might make more sense on a physical, practical kind of level, comfortable kind of level, and that would be okay. That would be appropriate for this month. I don't like to look into the future. I'm certainly not like a fortune teller, but I see that either that's coming for you, or if it's a decision that you have to make, then, that might be the best one for this month, to go with the more practical and comfortable way of being, or individual. Now, if you're partnered, it might be beneficial for you to bring those things into your relationship, such as creating a really comfortable movie night for you guys, or the foods that you eat, or redoing your bedroom and like having a bed fort or something, like sweet and cute and playful, but grounded and homey, and kind of staying in a little perhaps. And just casual vibes for you guys, and try to create something like that, or welcome it, or allow that to come into your relationship. Sorry for the noise, guys. This is good old Staten Island. All right, so in terms of the career, the money, the material stuff, we have service. And that kind of speaks for itself, doesn't it? There looks like an exchange. There's something from the heart that you can do or offer in some way that might inspire you, whether this is at your actual job or through your actual business yourself, or as a side project of some kind, or a calling. Maybe some of you are being called to become healers, or work with people on a level of serving, that doesn't have to be one-on-one. That can be writing a book, writing a blog entry, writing something to share, or just being very authentic in yourself, which provides, believe it or not, a service to other people. Patience comes up, and a sense of, I wouldn't say equal, fair, exchange, some type of exchange between you and your clients, or you and your work, what you're bringing, whatever you bring to the table at work, or whatever you work on and deliver and offer, whether again that's writing or any kind of project, or if you're working for someone, being very authentic in your servitude. That sounds bad, but that's not, I'm not saying it the right way. Just see balance. It's balance. It's about balance too in that regard. So what you put out, you will get back. Okay. So now we're going to move to Cancer. All right. So Cancer, for May, we have fog, veiled. So for some of you, you might feel confused. You might feel confused in a way that this perfect situation, this thing you're manifesting, whether it's the beautiful weather of summer that seems to be taking so long here in New York, or a project, a relationship, whatever that thing that you've been working on and working towards, you know it's there. You know it's behind the clouds. But there is some confusion. There is like some of the, what I call like more like the nitty gritty, like the who, what, where, how, what steps do I need to take? And it will be lifted, but you might feel that earlier in the month, and then it will kind of progress into a bit of clarity. Oh, you know what? I just remembered. I will go back to the Gemini crystal recommendation after this when I do the Cancer one. Sorry about that. But the manifestation is coming. There's no doubt about that. Whatever that is you're working towards, it's practically guaranteed. It is guaranteed as long as you continue to, take action and keep your mental thoughts, on that target. There might be some confusion related to your emotions coming up for you, such as something you thought you were so excited about, and maybe this manifestation, maybe another project or relationship, whatever that is, and because now it's so close, you feel uncomfortable because it's like, oh my gosh, this means everything's gonna change. Sometimes we work really hard for something, and then it comes and we're like, oh shit, I did it, and now everything is different. So if that's going on for you, just let that pass, just like the fog. Just understand that this is passing, it's temporary, it serves a purpose of some kind. Try to keep your eye on the focus, the light, validate, allow yourself to feel if those emotions come up that are confusing to you. Because let's say do I have this, this fear of success? Do I have this fear of something else, that's like kind of coming up now that I'm so close to reaching my goal? So that's something to keep in mind for you guys. For love, we have the Knight of Cups in reverse. I'll show you him. Sorry, it's not in the best focus. So I see the start of something in love, but you know what? It was in reverse, so maybe. Right around the time of the new moon, so either a little before or a little after. And I'm sorry, you're going to have to look up when the new moon is in May, because I just don't know it off the top of my head. But around the time of the new moon, you might feel something slip. Whether that's in terms of love, how do I say this? What you thought you wanted, your ideal, it might start to slip. It might start to change. It might start to flip around. You may have thought that you wanted, let's say, like a certain type of person, and then as you start to encounter people, or either you encounter people or you just reflect on your own about those traits, you start to realize like, oh my God, I don't think I could handle that. For example, wanting to date someone who, I don't know, is like a professional, I don't know, whatever, like is busy, is like a business person or something. And then realizing like, oh wait, that means they're not going to have any time for me. That's not always the case. I'm just trying to give you an example, but something along those lines. So you might like have some doubts come up for you. And again, this is emotional. It's an emotional kind of doubt. Like you will have potentially something coming around the new moon, maybe 3 days before, 3 days after, that makes you feel kind of doubtful. But it's just giving you a new way to look at things. It's going to provide a sense of knowing what you do truly want, which will help you to manifest that. And that could happen if you're already in a relationship, because our relationships are always evolving, or if you're single and like looking or open. You might be single and thought that you wanted a partner so badly, and then you realize like, oh my God, like I don't really want to do that right now. I want to focus on myself. I want to grow this or that. So that might come up. So that's, I guess, all I kind of see from this. So my suggestion there and in love is just to like connect with yourself and be open to the fact that your mind can change. And I don't mean to say like, oh, my mind changed and now I don't want to be with this person. But what you thought was important or what you thought you wanted might change. And to obviously, if you're in a relationship, keep that communication, specifically the communication about your feelings and your expectations, in a kind and gentle way to your partner. I had something like that come up for myself a while back. Like, I've even talked about it in videos where like I didn't set the bar high enough, and like, you know, my partner got very comfortable and I had to be like, look, I know I'm kind of a tomboy sometimes, or I know, you know, I can be like very, very, very chill, but you need to open the door for me. And I don't care if we share a bank account, you need to pick up the check. Like, all right, call me old school or something, but like after we had been together for like years, I was like, wait a minute, I just realized that like I want to be treated very femininely in the very typical sense of the word when it comes to the mannerisms and care, like the way I am cared for. Okay, so that was something that I needed to communicate to my partner. You're not doing this wrong. I've changed, my needs have changed, and this is really important to me. And he is, you know, like that. That's all I had to do. So in the career or the money stuff, it's the universe. So it's just like limitless. Like right now, if you are thinking about a new project, if you're thinking about going out on your own, if you're thinking about getting into some other type of form of making money, whether that's a passive income from writing a book or playing the stocks or whatever you're into, or whatever you're kind of chewing on, or maybe you haven't even started chewing on it yet, but it might come into your focus soon. Just keep that in mind. Like, the limits on your financial situation, your material situation, truly are limitless. And if you think otherwise, then you're the one creating the box for yourself, okay? You're only limited by your own potential of achieving something by virtue of your belief in yourself to do so. So just keep that in mind. There are no limits. If you have an idea and you think, you know, that you can always make it bigger and bigger, like don't put yourself in a little box, like expand. This is a month of expansion for you. That might be planting the seed. It might be really like getting into something, but certainly. So please forgive me. I'm going to backtrack into Gemini. Gemini, for your stones, so we had service, nurturing, and the Knight of Pentacles, Moonstone, Black Moonstone, Jaspers. Any Jaspers would be great for you this month. And then back to Cancer. Sorry for the confusion there, guys. It's kind of tricky to do this, you know. We know that manifestation is coming. There might be, so for you want some emotional stability for sure, something that will help in that regard. Lepidolite is very good for that. I just got my hands on this incredible stone. Oh my god, it's from Monk and Moon. It is called Purple Angelite. It's so stunning. Highly recommend that one for you Cancers this month. It's a little hard to find. It's incredible. Like when I took it out of the box, it was like I hadn't even unwrapped it yet, and it's buzzing. It was buzzing. And something limitless, so maybe like a spider web jasper would be good to keep in mind, that like you are connected and you have all this potential. All you have to do is want it. Don't limit yourself. All right, so back to, we are on Leo. Okay. Ooh, Leo, summer solstice, radiance. So you might get a little taste of summer this month, Leo, and be eating it up. I know that many of my Leo friends Like when that warm weather hits, like they are in their prime. They know Leo season is coming. It's like, I know it's not summer yet here. And, forgive me when I'm talking about this kind of stuff if you're in another hemisphere and, our summers and winters are different. But I have to read it from what speaks to me. So we'll just kind of go with that. But you might feel something. You're going to have like a taste, like, and almost like I don't want to say cranky, but there's going to be moments where you're just going to be like, I can't wait for like hot summer. Like that's going to be like a thing for you. I know not all Leos love the heat either, but like those summer vibes, you guys are going to really want to crave those potentially. I see also many facets like of your personality coming into the perspective here. Like, I don't want to say that you would be moody, but that you're kind of like wearing a different suit of yourself every day, and not in a shallow or like a facade, but just in a like really showcasing yourself. But it's casual, and I know I'm contradicting, but there is like a casual vibe to it, like, and you're just kind of being yourself. Not that you're bored, but like the sun has kind of like a bored face. Or maybe just like a little out of it, you might feel yourself being a bit spacey rather this month. So just enjoy that. It's okay, you might have like just the buzz coming, that summer buzz. And again, like those like aspects of your personality you're like more willing to share. All right, so for love, we have the Queen of Pentacles. So this is a very fertile time for some of you Leos. There's definitely like a motherly figure to this one for me, like Mother Earth. But more than that, like it literally looks like she has like a pearl or the sphere, like right kind of near her belly, a little high, but it has a maternal look to me. And don't take that the wrong way. If this is something you're looking in, like if you're like, oh, I'm like ready kind of thing for a child to start a family or broaden your family, this would be a good time. Either some of you might be expecting, some of you might be a good time, very fertile month for you if you're trying. But on the other hand, not all of us, are going to be in that position. So consider now a very good time to give birth to something in your relationship. Some level of, I'm saying mastery again, but awareness, like a very heightened sense of awareness of deliberate creation in the material sense, bringing forth something from the void, from your inspiration, or where this has been going on for years, or it's fresh and new, but knowing that like it can come out and be something that could be as simple as some heavy journaling that's very cathartic, and you really cleanse yourself in that regard. But I feel like it's going to be a bit more on the creation, like not just venting, not just exploring that side of getting to know yourself, but creating something that almost you maybe even didn't believe you could at one point, like painting or building something practical, useful, something that will serve, or that's like home repairs, something in your garden perhaps. I could definitely see some of you really getting into some like earthy stuff, like putting your hands in the soil. I mean, kind of obvious, it is May. I guess that's when people plant flowers and stuff, but that's what it looks like to me. So I guess in terms of relating that to love though, it might be just how you connect to yourself, because I don't know, I'm not really getting a strong sense of like this relating to a relationship necessarily, but more something for you, So this is about more self-love, you could say, honoring your heart's callings of some desire that you have to create something, big or small. So we'll keep it at that. And then for the material money has rest. So let's see. On one hand, this could relate to, let's say, career, being able to chill a little this month, kind of having an easy month, like the type where, I don't know, I remember like when I was in offices, we certainly had like a couple times that were just like the months would be kind of slow or quiet, or your boss was on vacation or something and it was just like a bit more chill. If you work for yourself, that could definitely tell you might be working too much and you want to like give yourself that time to like zone out and detach from that. If you're working in, with someone else, like let's say you have like a business partnership or a project of some kind together that's, to create money or to create like alchemy in some way, that you want to remember to maintain the relationship of the friendship as well, as in don't just like every time you get together with someone talk about business, like stop talking about it for a little bit, let yourself just be kind of like like normal, just like cut yourself off. I'm not saying all together for the whole month, but once it's whatever time of day, or once you're like, oh, I'm scheduling myself to be off this day, or not have any clients that day or whatever, just make sure that you're actually doing that and honoring those things at those times. So that's cool. I like that. So we'll go to your crystal. Multi-dimensional. So I'm thinking like Herkimer diamond. And for the rest one, so I'm saying, let me retract that perhaps. Maybe some type of just carved stone piece. Like I know they're kind of harder to find, so that's probably not a great thing for me to tell everybody to get, or to, get out of their drawer or whatever. But I'm thinking of something like a dodecahedron shaped like stone of some kind. Maybe that would be really, I don't know, whatever, that's coming up. But if you can't find something like that, I call them like meteor stones. So it's a stone that would be roundish and kind of seem to have sides to it, if you can kind of picture that. It doesn't have to be perfectly even, but something that has like multi-parts. Alternatively, you could look at that as maybe a cluster, or amethyst would be helpful. So for some reason, I'm seeing that the shape is almost more important than what the actual stone is. Something with like multiple things on it, whether it's multiple sides or multiple points. Hope you can follow that. All right, where are we? Virgo. Okay. So for Virgo, we have eagle, communication. Ooh, okay. So I see you journeying this month, which I feel like is a bit, I don't want to say odd for Virgo. We certainly have, Virgos are certainly like earthy and, connected, but they're very logical, so sometimes that can play into how much time they allow themselves for things like meditation. I'm saying that, but on the other side of the coin, it can mean that they're very good at scheduling time for their meditation and stuff. So I could be wrong, but that might be a half and half situation with some of you. Maybe that's why I'm confused there. But I see journeying. I see whether that means some type of listen to the messages that come up in your dreams. Write down your dreams this month. Use a journal and do it every single morning. Write down your dream. Even if you write down, I can't remember my dream. Just like have that act. If you're into meditating or you want to try a journey, a shamanic journey in a way, to perhaps meet your spirit guide, spirit animal, meet one of your guides, perhaps connect with your ancestors by lighting some incense for them, lighting a candle, light some incense and connect to your ancestors just by an offering, like we're offering it to them. This kind of stuff is energy, you know, like the smoke, the candle, the intention, our thoughts, our love. That is energy, and it travels to them and they can send it back to us, you know, but we have to allow that, the bridge to go up in that regard. So please do keep that in mind. So that's what I see for you. I see connection, a connection to something of your mind, of your higher self, your ancestors, your guides, or something. It would be really good to get a dream journal, or it doesn't have to be a dream journal, it could be anything you could write on, but keeping track, making it an active thing. If you have any loved ones who are passed over, it might be a good idea to connect with them this month. If you don't do that on a regular basis and, you know, it's like kind of awkward, that's okay. Write them a letter and then burn it in your fireplace or your sink or somewhere safe, you know. Send them a message. Do something that feels like you reached out. And it's not for the return of anything necessarily, but to allow yourself to create that rapport. Okay, so in love. All right, we have the Two of Cups. So if you're single, you might feel very balanced. You might feel connected to your friends very much at this time, or, you know, your sibling or something where you're kind of like going out and having fun with them, or just bonding, having that kind of, I don't know, I just kind of see that. I mean, they kind of look like sisters or something. It could mean that you meet someone that has very much things in common with you and complement you very well. Sorry, I'm like staring off into space over here. Probably looks really funny. I see you, you know, getting some drinks. I'm not a drinker, but I'll have a gin once in a while. And, you know, this might be that kind of month, you know, not like a party month, I don't mean that, but you might find yourself in a need to be social. You might find that you feel like you can be yourself truly in that situation. You might kind of, you know, I don't want to say we have to lean on booze at all to like let our guard down. But, you know, one drink, you know, one time this month, if you're open to that kind of thing, might serve you in some way. It might feel good. You might meet someone, or just connect with yourself, connect with like maybe a more like a different perspective of yourself. In terms of people who are partnered, see, just like having a good month together, like being on the same page, being on the same like emotional level for the most part. So it's like just, it's good, you know, there's not really that much to it for that for me. All right, and for your career, I love this card. This deck is so funny. I love it. For the career, material, money kind of thing, there's pleasure. I hope you can see it, 'cause it's super, I love, these are so my style. I love her stuff. She's so cool. All right, so let me think about this, because it doesn't really ring a bell right away for me. All right, so something comes up. Pleasure, you know, can relate to passion. For this, like the funny face that it is, it makes me think of like being like in the zone, like when you're like super like meditating, or like just like that really beautiful feeling. I don't know if you guys ever get it. I'm sure many of you do. We're just like, oh my God, I feel so good. And it's not because of like pleasure, but of just like being like in a high moment for yourself. Keep track of those. Keep track of when you get those. Start to analyze them a little bit. That might be leading you somewhere on your career, or through your passions, or in the ways that you make money. Be mindful not to do something solely because it feels right to you. you know, we don't want to like run out there like completely based on feelings. We really have to balance, you know, our brain in that regard. But do keep connecting with that, which gives you that like that high moment, like, or maybe be on the lookout for that feeling sometime this month. It will mean something to you. It will ring a bell. It will like indicate something. You'll find a pattern, or I don't know, it's hard. I'm not getting like a super clear thing on it, but be mindful of that feeling. Either follow it if it happens often and you know that feeling that I'm talking about. It's just like, whoa, like I can do this. I can do all of this. Oh my God. Or wow, I just see everything lining up in the future. And it's like, and just like all goes in. And it's like, I don't know, it's just like a really cool moment. The zone, or like Abraham Hicks would call it like the vortex or something like that, probably. So just, if you know you get those often, be mindful of them, start analyzing them. But if you don't, and you catch yourself in that, or be on the lookout for it, that might indicate something to you. There might be like, ooh, okay, I got that. Holy shit, that's this, you know, kind of thing. So we want you to be connecting with your guides or your ancestors or something, listening to your dreams. So definitely braciated jasper, which would be really good, or even a red jasper for dream recall. It's also a shamanic-y kind of stone. And for awareness, you know, I'm going to give you a few recommendations, but crazy lace agate would be good in the love department, or in that, you know, just bringing more joy into the situation. You already have it going, so it will just like really enhance it and kind of hold it there. You could even think of like, if you wear crazy lace agate or have it on you or in your pocket, you can set an intention when you have that really fun experience. It's like in your pocket and you're like, okay, I want you to like suck up these vibes, you know, like I want this feeling to last a little. Those are just fun ways to play with your stones. And then awareness, like catch yourself in something. So we want something that brings you into the moment and a little bit I'm gonna go with even like a green calcite, because we want you to know like that feeling in your heart. So I'll go with heart stuff, like a green calcite maybe. So hello and welcome back. I'm so sorry, but I had to stop recording the video, and it is now days later and I'm back. I won't bore you with the details, but essentially it was just getting too late and the video was getting long, and I was getting distracted by some stuff going on outside. My son woke up, I wasn't feeling too hot, so I opted to go to bed. And then, you know, I ended up getting kind of sick, hence it took me a while to get back on track. I also had some work to do that I had to prioritize before this video, so I'm happy to be here. We're going to pick up where we left off. I'm so happy that I had little notes going for at least, you know, working through the zodiac signs here, because we are now on Libra. Just shuffling the cards with the intention. These are the same decks. The only difference now, which may have been for some kind of purpose, who knows, is that the cards that I had pulled for the other zodiac houses, I was kind of like setting them aside at first, but now they're like back and shuffled in here. So some of you may get a similar message. It's possible now. So anyway, you know, just that's the only difference. Just want to shuffle these ones really quick. So sorry for the interruption, guys. Okay, wonderful. So just to get myself back on track here, we're pulling a card for the general theme, some insight, something to consider, just, you know, generalized. And then we're doing one for love or romance, or even love of self if it plays out that way. And then one for career, finances, and the material realm. I know you guys are all aware, but for me this is days later, so that's why I'm saying this stuff. Okay, so to pull a card for Libra. Oh, I keep getting this card. Fairies, earth magic. This has come up very often for me lately, for other people, not myself. So Libra, this card is for me about working with the elemental energies that are around us. And what do I mean by that? Well, you could say that's like, you know, in a more fantasy kind of mind frame, a playful inner child tying in, you know, even that alone, embracing our inner child this month is a good concept to work with when we're dealing with, you know, the term of fairies. But beyond that, you know, or that in addition, there are subtle energies that are on this level, this dimension, or maybe we could consider that they kind of play throughout dimensions and are able to reach us here. And they're encouraging us to get grounded, pay attention to maybe the impact we're making on our environment, specifically the well-being of the planet, the well-being of, you know, your garden, your street, community cleanup, where you work, how are you recycling your trash, like even very practical things as starting a compost heap, planting flowers that, you know, will suit and serve the bees and birds for continuing their process of what they do, you know, things along the lines of that. But being able to be playful with that as well, and know that, you know, for some reason now, even though this hasn't come up for me with this card before, you know, that's what's so fun about intuition. I see the concept of micro magic now. So if you're unfamiliar, it's a really cool thing to get into. Essentially, it's like, for me, I'll just take a small example. I'm very drawn to wanting to help animals. I love animals. I want to see them in a better place and not used for, you know, our entertainment or our consumption necessarily. And you know, I'm not trying to be very pointing a finger here or anything, but as a personal thing, like, I don't enjoy or support the majority of how animals are kept, brought up, and stuff along the lines of that. You could take it into a little more small and narrow that a bit. So let's say dogs, and how, you know, they can be bred, and it's like this poor dog, this female mommy dog, is like just being used as this like doggy factory or something. And then you can take that into it's not funny, but you can take that into the overpopulation of dogs, and how, you know, there's so many that are in these shelters and whatever. So my micro magic can be how I treat my dog Bamba, and how I care for him, and just when I love him, intending to send that love to all the other doggies out there. So that's just an idea to play with, the micro magic, inner child, and doing something in that elemental kind of energy field, like a little bee garden. For love, we have, I may have pulled this before, you know, it's kind of hard for me to remember, but this is the Two of Swords in reverse. So there might be, let's say, a clashing of the minds romantically for you. That could be with your current partner, and that could be, you know, with someone you're dating, or you go on a date, or the concept of even talking to people sometimes can be like this internal battle, right? You know, like when you're looking, you're open to getting into a relationship if you're on that end of the spectrum, and, you know, it's like, I don't even want to do this anymore. Like, sometimes it can be a bit like, you know, it can certainly become annoying, and like something you're like, oh, should I even do this anymore? Or alternatively, if you're in a relationship, you might find a bit of a clash of perspectives. But, you know, to add some good to this, the suggestion then here is to remember that we all see things differently, we all interpret things differently. So to come at this from a more peaceful place while still asserting yourself, it's so easy for me to like use myself as a reference, so I don't mean to like talk endlessly about myself, but if my partner and I are having any kind of clash, sometimes I have to be like assertive, and say like, look, please don't make me fight with you over this. Please, let's not turn this into a battle. We're gonna see these things differently, but I need you to hear out my side of this, and I need for you to share your side so that I can understand and bring a level of logic into your relationship, or if you're dating, and that as well. Be forthcoming and know that by you being true to yourself in that regard, it will serve you whether this person drops out of your life, if it's just like a casual date, or it will give them an opportunity to treat you the way that you want to be treated, or that you require to be treated. So communication here is important, and logic and balance in that regard. All right, so for career, I did shuffle these, but I'm drawn to do so again. Okay, progress. Wonderful. Well, that kind of speaks for itself, doesn't it? All right, so keep doing the work, guys. I mean, it's so obvious, right? But keep doing the work. You're gonna make progress. You are making progress. You're gonna see progress this month, and you're gonna be able to even peek ahead a little into the future and see, like, hey dude, like, I'm going up. This is going up. This is taking off. If you're working for yourself, this can be, very empowering to see this thing happen. I know for myself, like, my channel's grown a little bit, and although it's not the straight arrow, it's up and down, but it's overall going up, and that is what you will see in your career, in your finances. It's overall up. So if you catch yourself, oh, this week was a little bit worse than last, or oh, yesterday I had this many sales, or or anything along the lines of comparison in a narrow time frame, pull back a little and to be able to see like the overall progress that you've made, and know that this is going to continue. In terms of a crystal, just peek again. Sorry, for the elemental, micro magic, like really that can be almost anything. I would say something like clear quartz for micro magic would be great. Even something like small like that, like something small to represent the fact of like how what appears to be so little can be so powerful. Bamba. Thank you, buddy. Good boy. And in terms of like the elemental energy, then there are fairy stones. I forget the name of them. I believe they're called fairy cross. That would be a really good one. Something earthy, something maybe like a chiastolite would be great. And then for that intellect, clarity, bringing logic into a potential conflict, or what appears to potentially be like a disagreement of some kind. Something with patience but logic is what we want to essentially use here. So fluorite is always great for that. Blue, maybe even like a pinky purple would be what I would go with there. And your progress, that's more of just stepping back. I don't think that there needs to be a specific stone to that. Again, clear quartz would be great for that as well, anyway, to gain clarity. Okay, so Scorpio. We have wind and activation. All right, so you guys might be feeling something heightening. You might come across a teacher, a book. This might be a time for you to become activated, potentially in by an external source, but it could certainly come from within as well. I see here potentially sorry, I'm like using repetitive words for some reason right now. Of course, change can come from within. You know, I don't mean to say it has to be external, but wind makes me feel like there's something pushing us. There's something, whether it's an experience that you have that makes you research something and then get a book on it, or talk to someone and then become activated in some way, or something along the lines of that, like a shift. For me, it feels external. I don't want to say it can't be internal, but for me, it feels external here. And that it like breathes new life into the way you see something, potentially, you know, big or small. But activation is a something big, you know, how I feel about it anyway. For me, this is typically something that I experience with like a teacher or a book, or through meditation or something a bit more spiritual. There might be something in your mind which becomes activated through a newly discovered desire or perspective within your core that kind of like sets off this chain reaction. So I'd be on the lookout for something like that this month. And then for love, we have the Six of Wands. So I see comfortable creation in this card, riding a wave. Perhaps if you're in a relationship, you and your partner are just doing well, you know, like in balance, there's harmony, you're kind of like going with the flow together, being like, oh my god, I can't believe how great we work together, whether you talk like that to each other or not, like just having that kind of appreciation for one another. I do feel a bit of self going on here for sure. So if you're single, you might just feel very empowered and in love with yourself in a way. And as you continue to feel, you're aware that you're leveling up, and that by doing so, you're just creating such a beautiful example around you, frequency, vibration, which attracts those other people who are on those higher levels to you. And you know, that can be anything. You're working harder, you know, I don't want to say the better we are, the more deserving we are of good people. That sounds kind of like a bit much, but it's on that level. I'm not finding the perfect words for that. You might just feel like really in touch with yourself this month too. Like if you are the type who's like, you know, kind of looking, kind of be like, who's that? Who's out there? You might just have a month where you're like kind of cool, doing what you do, and you're not really feeling that need necessarily super strong. And then for career, material, love. Okay, that's interesting. It's cry. So cry to me is release. My dog, he's like drinking his water now. So he was scratching a bunch, now he's drinking his water. But I see a release, I see making room for something. So if you've had an experience, or you have an upcoming thing this month, or you might feel a release or a shift in some way, which at first might feel, I don't want to say bad, but might feel like, you know, whenever we release it, it's part of us going. It feels great because it's like, whew, okay. But if we're not in the right frame of mind, it can scare us. It can make us feel uneasy, unsteady. So just know that if there's any opportunity that creates space in your life through release in your career, in your work, in your material, if there's something that needs to change, know that you're making room for something better, something more true and in alignment with yourself. So by being aware that potentially there might be some room, you want to make sure that you're feeling really good, or as good as you can, or you have the highest expectations, and you're not like, oh no, now this is going to happen, or now this is going to happen, and like send yourself back down. So keep your faith, in a sense, in your abilities and the fact that things will work out, because they will vibrationally match the work that you're putting in. So in terms of a crystal for you guys, You know, I see that harmony there already for the Six of Wands, so I don't have a strong need there for a stone, so let's go with activation. You know, I'm just going with colors really here. Something magenta, whether that's, it could even be dyed, like a crackle, like a pink crackle quartz that's just been dyed pink, or there's a pink magenta stone that I can't recall the name of that I'm thinking of. I wish I could remember it. I'll put it here for you guys because I'm sure it will come to me as I'm editing. Essentially, I see like working with the zeal chakra there. So, even a ruby, like a ruby of some kind would probably be really good. A ruby in zoisite even might be excellent for you guys. Just gonna let Bomba out. Okay. Okay, he's gone. Alright, sorry. Bomba's like distracting me. So now we have Sag. Oh, okay. The lotus flower unfoldment. This is a really beautiful card. It's difficult to see, but there are these like hands holding the card like this, or I'm sorry, holding the sun in the card. So it's like a gift, just spreading the light. The many facets of our personality, the many facets of you as you develop this month are beginning to blossom and also seed. The lotus flower is one that blooms at the same time that it like releases its seed or something interesting like that. I'm not putting it into the best words. I'm not like super knowledgeable about it, but it's something I've heard before from one of my shamanic tribe members, and it was really, really interesting to think about. So I see some type of completion, some type of development or comfort in you sharing facets of your personality or interest this month, which might be ones that serve in some way. You know, you being true to yourself and expressing that truth will always serve. You know, whether you think about it or, you know, whether it's you can consciously be aware of that happening or not. By you being in your alignment, you're setting that off for other people. So that's awesome. Right, then for love. The lovers. This is super cute. It's like little flamingos together making like a little heart shape. So that's a good sign, you know. You might have some good dates if you're single. You might just find harmony and balance and passion and complementary energies going on. And you might find in your relationship with your partner that's there as well. Like you're just working together, you're kind of appreciating each other and being mushy and cute and just doing the things that you like to do together, being weirdos together, like whatever it is that attracts you to in those complementary yet similar energies that you guys have. And then for career, money, earth, or whatever, material, plane type stuff, we have listen. So keep your senses. It's not just listening, it's your senses. Like, let them guide you a little. Whatever you're trying to grow, whatever you're trying to work through in your career, your finances, just be very aware. This is a time for awareness. Not hyper dissection, not obsessive planning, just awareness. Where is things going? If you need to watch your finances, that might be something you have to watch this month. It doesn't mean you have to be like all tight and feel stressed about it, but just know like where is your energy going, your money energy. If it's about how much people pay you, just be aware of how you feel about it. Is it in balance? Like, is it, I don't want to say fair. I really hate that term, but does it feel equal to you in some regard? Is that exchange there? So just tap into your senses when it comes to the material and your finances and whatnot. So for the lotus flowers, obviously something multifaceted. And showing yourself something a little bold as a crystal. Maybe a natural point. Just staring at these cards, sorry. Yeah, I think like something pointed, like a cluster of some kind. Clear quartz is coming up again. I know it's like the easy way out because it's like honestly like the stone you could use for everything, but a clear quartz point or cluster would be good. And in terms of listening or to aid in that aspect, something to work with the throat chakra, as well as the sacral. I'd say you want your gut instincts to be there, as well as your like mental capacity for like interpreting your senses or feeling things out or being in the moment. So I'm gonna go with like peach aventurine for something like that, because it will help you to quiet your mind and allow those senses to like, you know, present themselves, as well as work with the sacral area in a calm way that lets you gauge things. Okay, Capricorn. Shaman, ancient healing wisdom. All right, so this would be a great month for you to connect with the earth, journeying. If you do some type of guided meditation, invite your ancestors, your guides, your animal guides, the guides from this earthly realm. You know, there's like angels, ascended masters, etc. They're kind of in this like cosmic realm, where this card is asking you to focus on the more earthly realm, which is more plant, mineral, and animal particularly, and certainly people as well. They're going to have something for you this month. A guided meditation to say work with like a totem animal, or just being aware of the animals that present themselves to you as you go about your day. Like here in Staten Island, like I don't get lots of animals, but they will present themselves, you know, whether it's bees or seagulls or, you know, like whatever. Like see what comes up and see how they make you feel. And, you know, I don't love running to Google for like every single thing. I like trying to feel how a symbol makes us feel first. But by all means, you know, have a peek online if you feel like that resonates, or you're like, this was there. I saw this hawk. Like, let me gain some perspective from my good pal Google over here. Then for drop that. For love, I'm gonna shuffle a little more. Love for you guys. All right, we have the Nine of Swords. You might be feeling a bit attacked, a bit defeated in some way. There may be some discomfort, and it could be a moment. It doesn't have, like, don't listen to me say this and then expect some like horrible thing. I will always help you to see, you know, try to help you to see the good in any situation, because it is always there. But it's a bit like isolated or attacked, or I don't want to say rejected. I don't really feel that, but maybe feelings of rejection come up. Having a lot on your mind actually is what I really see here. So somebody might kind of maybe unintentionally, perhaps most likely unintentionally, trigger something in your mind where, you know, you start picking at yourself, thinking maybe you're not good enough, or letting a thought like that come in. You know, we do think that it might take you back to a dark place in a past relationship, but you're gonna need some mental discipline this month to fill your mind with the good. You know that if somebody does something, give them an opportunity to correct themselves, please. Like, we will save so much personal stress by letting people correct ourselves. If somebody says something, it makes you feel weird, give them a, what do you mean by that? You know, usually that's like all they need to like rephrase what they meant to say, or, you know, realize like, oh God, I said that very carelessly. Let me, you know, explain myself more. If you're running through the memories of like your past exes or things that your partner has done to you, you know, use discernment. Is this a valid reason for you to end the relationship? Or is there really good that outweighs the bad? And are you kind of maybe focusing on that which is uncomfortable? So just mind your thoughts. Know that you control this space, and, you know, you're badass and no one can take anything away from you. However, you can entertain the ideas that like come from insecurities or anything like that. So that's like going to be on you, and that can be very tricky, but you can definitely do it. You know, you have that mastery. And then for career, sorry for my like shuffling sometimes and then not other times. I'm just doing what feels right for me. Oops, that one jumped out, so we're gonna go there. Okay, so we have teach. So this is an opportunity for you this month to share something. That could be delegating some responsibilities in your career and, you know, being cool with that. It could be you teaching a class on the side and benefiting from it, because, you know, that could be an extra income, or you might just do it out of the goodness of your heart to support those who are on similar path as you, maybe teaching those who are a bit younger or earlier on their path in terms of maybe starting their own business or in their careers or whatever, on a social kind of way, which I guess this doesn't really come up, but I just had this thing of like, again, remember, you teach people how to treat you. So for whatever reason that came up in this situation, even though it's money or career or finance and stuff. Be open to teachers as well. If you have, you know, all of us have somebody in our life, most of us have somebody in our life that kind of like gives us advice when we're not really looking for it. Sorry, I wanted to make sure my microphone was on. Gives us advice when we're not necessarily looking for it, and we just like let it, like, yeah, okay. Be open to any opportunities to receive teaching as well, that come up in relation to your finances. So for you guys, I'm going to suggest something like a leopard skin jasper or even a Dalmatian jasper. And for this kind of time where you want your mental plane to be strong, I would say just choose a stone that feels right to you. I know that's like, hello, I could do that anytime. I don't need someone to tell me that. But choose something that feels right for you, and you will feel more confident through your own act of choosing, like more confident in your intuition. Like, I'm choosing this one. This one's right for me because I said it is, like that kind of thing. It might empower you a bit. I guess empowering is the word of the day. Okay, so Aquarius. Alright, we have ebb and flow, ocean. Alright, so you may have a ton going on this month, or nothing. I mean, I have a few Aquariuses in my life, and I know that they are already, like May has started, it's May 2nd. They are busy as heck, so that would kind of make sense. Remember to create harmony through the ebb and flow. If you're in a place right now where things are kind of chill, still, like that, and you want movement, remember that you can create movement. Start a new project. Start doing something to get the ball rolling, if you may. And if you feel like things are crazy and like it's already like this rolling wave, like powering in, remember to take that time to create the harmony on the other side in regard to giving yourself a break, giving yourself some time off, and just like keeping things harmony. It's about creating harmony. So see where you are and remember to bring in a little of the opposite, you could say, to work in the polarities of ebb and flow there. So you're not like bored or stand still. When we're standing still, it's great, you know, it's nice to have a break once in a while if we're enjoying it. But if it's like I feel like I should be doing something, the world is going to keep changing, you know. So it's like if we're changing, if we're working towards something, we're participating in it, we're guiding it a bit more. And when we're not, we're kind of like leaving it open a little too much for things to happen for us, and we haven't really put in any effort, so we're not as active. So that's what comes up for you guys, Aquarius. For love, okay, we have the 9 of Pentacles. So it's some type of completion in your relationship. I'm gonna go with relationship first. You guys might take a trip. You might like have a really, like, even if it's just a conversation, but it's like a plan of some kind. You might be talking about the future, like in a good way, like where is this going, and like tempting each other, encouraging each other to grow and create this like beautiful space for each other as you plan a bit like out there. And if you're on this more single or open side, I would say then that you're thinking a lot about your future, thinking about what you want. You might have a very clear idea at this point of who that person would be, if you don't know the name or the face necessarily, but you know what you want out of the relationship. You certainly know what you want, or feel like you know what you want, or have a good idea of your future. And that's a beautiful place to be, because again, when we know what we want, then the pieces fit together so much more easily. It's not like a guessing game of like, I don't know, like a moodiness. There's more clarity and stability here, I see. All right. Oops. Sorry. Hard to keep track of here. All right, then for money, career, finances, material stuff, we have love. Okay, I love this card. It has like aura kind of going around it, these like cool eye things. All right, well, your success comes from loving what you do, you know, passionate about what you do, having a genuine connection to what you're creating in this world. Now, not all of us get to have jobs where we freaking love what we do. Like, I get it. Like, I'm not trying to say, you know, that's just works out for everyone right off the bat, but it should be what we're striving towards. It should be in the cards, in the plan, as we consider the future, that we're gonna do what we want to do, whatever that may be. Now, it doesn't always work out like, oh, I mean, it could, like, you want to play video games all day. People do that, you know. You want to like do something that like you kind of think like, how could you support yourself doing that? Like, look what I do. Like, this is like, you know, from someone else's perspective, this is like made out of, you know, thin air, you know, essentially, like making videos, doing energy work, talking to people, you know, doing classes, talking about stones. Somebody who's very, very, very like practical and very black and white in terms of how they can see might not be like, what? Like my father, like trying to explain to him what I do. He's like, you're good? Okay, cool, you're good. Like, that's all he needs to know. So just to keep that in mind, you know, to keep a realism to this. But if you don't know what you want to do yet, you're not happy in some way, if you have a job or a career path or something that is not, you don't see how it's going to get you into a place of it being something you love or are passionate about, you know, don't throw it away now, but make sure that you're working to get to that place, because our true success comes from this. Money is awesome. We all need money. We love money. We want the freedom that money brings. We want the nice things and the comfort, the ability to give, the ability to do and build from this financial energetic source. However, if you're not happy, then it's not gonna really, it's not the same thing. Like, it's not the same. It doesn't equate necessarily to happiness. I know it's like money can't buy happiness kind of thing. Like, I know it's like not a phrase I love, but it's just something to consider. Like, it's more valuable to do something you love, to have the time to put into yourself, and just, I don't know, that's just kind of what comes up. So I hope you can decipher what that means for you. So in terms of ebb and flow and creating harmony for Aquarius this month of May, I want to say ocean jasper, but I'm going to choose something different. Something with contrast. Perhaps, I have a good one. Actually, like something like a spider web jasper, or something that has some kind of markings to you that almost look like spider webs would be great. Sorry, that was a little close to the microphone. That would work on all of these levels. It would just kind of connect you to that like cosmic web, and you can use that to create harmony. You can use that to tap into something you're passionate about in your career or through your finances, as well as planning for the future. So I'm going to go with a spiderweb jasper. Alright, Pisces, we're getting almost to the end here. I actually picked this one and it feels right. So I always pick the first one, but I didn't shuffle. That's okay, we go with what feels good. So Pisces, this is so you, isn't it? Cave and sanctuary. So somebody's coughing. We know that most Pisces persons love their time to reflect, to be in their meditative space, to create, to read, and this is a month to do that, Pisces. So please indulge in those traits that you might be longing for. There's a lot of inner reflection going on, darkness. There are some practices out there where I forget exactly the name of it, but it's essentially like going into the dark for a period of time. So that might be something to play with sometime during your meditation, like create a very dark space to sit in. For me, I kind of just put my blanket like all over me, but it's getting quite warm at this point, so I probably won't do that. But something about darkness here and like being able to like go within, even if it was just for like one session for yourself, might be cool. Or if there's like a singing bowl night or something in your area that does something in the dark, I feel like that would be really cool. But it's okay if you feel like being a homebody this month, like indulge, enjoy, it's fine. It's all about like you and your connection to yourself, and just enjoying that, Alright, so for love, we have the Four of Swords. So I see a stability here that comes from logic again. Rest, like giving things a break. Being comfortable with, I don't want to say taking things at face value, but if someone says they're not upset or if someone says that's not what they meant, or if someone says whatever, like just take that, like take somebody's word for it. Trust yourself and just and trust them. Let things be this month in love and relationships, whether you're in love and in a relationship or open. Let things be kind of chill, Don't look too deeply into anything. It's okay. I don't want to say keep things superficial. That's not what I mean either, or shallow, but just let them be on the surface a bit. It doesn't have to be like driving down, and it's okay if it is. Like, a little on the what feels perhaps superficial or anything. I'm sure that maybe the next month will compensate for that. And not that this is a bad thing either. It's nice to have that just like relaxed, kind of easygoing, trusting kind of energy. All right, so career for you guys. Oh, focus. All right, so money, career, all of this stuff, whether this means action and focused action for you and the growth that you want to see, or, you know, what it looks more depicted here with the eyes closed and just kind of like envisioning, manifesting, creating in this place. It goes so well with the cave and the like need for retreat perhaps this month, or maybe feeling a bit introverted. Cut yourself off from external influences and just see where you want to focus your energy, or actually do focus your energy and manifest a bit. It's a good month for you. All right, so I see something very dark, like maybe we could go with Labradorite, but something very dark, maybe like Nuumite. Yeah, Nuumite comes up for you. That will be good for the need for withdrawal potentially, as well as the manifesting, because it's such a black, dark stone. And I feel like it would be good for your relationships as well, to kind of keep things like a bit of healthy boundaries, I want to say. Not diving too deep in any of it. Like any pressure, like avoiding pressure, or being, you know, okay that things are kind of chill. So I feel like Nuumite would be a great stone for you guys this month. And finally, Aries, because we started with Taurus to celebrate the Taurians' birthdays. Alright, I think we got this card already too. But it is Wolf and Instinct. I'm seeing a strong sense of self, which Aries of course has. Perhaps, even though this is a picture of a lone wolf, for some reason, Aries, I'm thinking more for you. Something about being able to understand the collective energy that you are a part of. I don't mean that as the more cosmic collective energy from my perspective here. I mean that as your social groups, the people you hang with. I see you perhaps playing into like, let me look at this. Like, why do we do this? Why do we always end up going to these couple of places? Or why don't we ever get together at all? Or kind of like analyzing perhaps your relationships, your friendships particularly, or even your family, like looking down through the histories, like perhaps how your parents treated each other, how they treated you, your siblings, and considering how did that come to be by how they were brought up, and just like understanding the family tree there and the dynamic of hierarchy. You might find yourself questioning that, like questioning it, and perhaps trying to break out from that in some way, or guide the pack into a different way of doing things. Or you might, on the other hand, go out and be seeking I don't say a new pack, but something that serves you more, a different group of friends, a different group of community for you. See, the same card can mean different things, right? And then we have, sorry, that was just a sloppy on my part. Now we have love for Aries. Okay, and we have the Three of Pentacles reversed. So, you may feel like you've taken a step back in some way in your relationship. If you're just, well, I'll stick with the relationship so I don't get confusing. You might find that there is a realignment that needs to take place. Some of you, this could mean even adding to your family, and it can be a good thing too, so I don't want to say, it can always be a good thing, but to keep in mind that the triangle shape is very, very strong and powerful, and just like a good shape overall. I mean, not that any shape could be good or bad, but in order to build in some way, you're gonna have to kind of unhinge a little. You're gonna have to shift, and that can be uncomfortable for one or both parties in the dynamic of the relationship. So just keep that in mind. Keep the other person's, how they feel in mind, and by doing so, you will be treated better. When we treat people with care and with a level-headed kind ofness, or seeing that we're all very unique. We all are having individual experiences, that sometimes for the growth, for something to be able to be, let's say a square, it's going to have to shift, and it's gonna, we're gonna have to create new roles. We're gonna have to shift a little here, and just that's okay. For those of you who are looking or on the more open end of the relationship type realm, you might be talking to more than one person at this time, or have your sights set on more than one person, or just be open or whatever. And it might be confusing. It might be disruptive to your day-to-day life in some regard, whether it's consuming your thoughts, or you just kind of practically don't have enough time in the day. You might feel just that way in general with dating again, and just be a little disenchanted in a sense. But more so even see it playing out in a physical realm of something that is becoming I don't want to say an issue, but needs evaluation. This is a time to evaluate how, on both ends, in any of the romantic realm, partnered or single or whatever. This is a time to keep in mind and be aware of how your romantic relationship is playing out in your day-to-day, and if it's affecting that, to keep in mind as well. So we'll kind of leave that there. And for your money, career, finances, I feel so bad. I feel the quality of this video is awful, guys. I'm so sorry. It's been so noisy and crazy, and I had to stop what I was doing and do it again. Okay, so bleed. Interesting. Well, as a woman, to me, bleed means the cycles. So that's how I feel, I guess, about this card in terms of money. There's a cycle playing out. Be aware of the cycle, the pattern that you're creating with your finances and your career and whatnot. Is this supporting what you want? Is this a cycle? Are you caught on something? I'm not putting it into best words. Let me think for a second on how I can explain that or use an example or analogy. I'll just take spending, because that's the first thing that's coming to mind. If you find yourself to have this goal, I want to buy a house, I want to move here, I want to travel, I want to do something, something that's tangible, let's say. If you're creating a cycle by, you going out to eat a lot, or doing something that takes away from the finances that you would have put toward that goal, know that isn't going to stop until you step into that cycle and alter something. Instead of putting, going out to eat with so-and-so all the time, I'm going to have them over. Or instead of going out to eat, let's go to the park. We can bring snacks or whatever. And be a little mindful on the cycle that you're creating, and if it is bleeding your finances, you could say. it's not a bad thing. This can be a great time, a great month for you to implement a new cycle. So savings, even if it's like putting a jar together, a jar for like this or that, or starting your savings account, or being more active with it, being more active in paying off credit cards if that's what you want. But it's a good time to start or impose upon the cycle. Money is kind of a cycle for a lot of us. It's like, the way I see it is like each month we kind of have these reoccurring bills, right? It's like, okay, phone, car insurance, rent, utilities, like whatever, like that's how I see the cycle of money, is kind of by my bills, and also like the money I receive. Some things I get paid per month, so it's like I can see the cycle there. And what you're doing with that is where it's going to go, and how it's going to continue to either kind of keep you in one place, or even drag you down a little financially, or build you up and create this like cushion for you to go and do and spend how you see fit. So I would say then, for a crystal, I'd say a citrine. I'm seeing like a citrine point. And perhaps a jasper of some kind to create comfort with the potential physical, it's not a physical issue as in your body, but if something in the romantic relationship, the thing of love is not in cohesion with how you want your day to go, so to create some harmony, I would say something like a jasper. I'm trying to think of like which one specifically. Bloodstone comes up, although I'm not exactly sure why. Maybe it's like an African bloodstone. Or even porcelain jasper. So that's what I will suggest to you, as like a citrine point, because I want you to be able to like, or any point really, it could be amethyst, I guess, or something that speaks to you, but a point, like as if you were gonna like carve into that cycle and be like, what am I doing? Like, I want to do something different. And for even the reflection on the family cycles that kind of comes up here, or the friends, or like the something like, why do we keep doing this? I don't know. Does this serve me? Are these really the people I want to be around all the time? I love them, but I kind of need to like to analyze a little here, to maybe use a little judgment. So something with a point to kind of carve in is what I see. All right. So I'm so sorry for this like all over the place video, but I hope that you enjoyed it nonetheless, and at least got some good messages for yourself for the month of May. I'm feeling much better. Thank you guys so much for all your well wishes and just everything. I'm just always so honored and grateful to connect with you, and appreciate your support and just everything. This is just so wonderful to have you guys here. So thank you, and from the bottom of my heart, as always, namaste.